run off the pressure of the 4-man unit with Gimgoon staying in the side lane to farm up. So when we get to these objectives, it'll be on Lwx and Doinb to churn out this damage with Crisp and Tian, providing that front line for Lwx's bullet time.
We haven't talked much about top lane, but this is the same matchup we saw game 1, just in reverse of players. Gimgoon also is a big GP lover, but Zoom is the best GP in the league, if not the world. It just hasn't been tested on that international stage. But the matchup going like we saw it in game 1, big CS lead here for Gimgoon in the early laning phase.
Crisp roaming a lot, though, means that he's starting to fall behind in levels. Trying to set up Doinb here and make it easier for him to push out this wave because he's falling behind on CS. LvMao spots that, though, and now he wants to keep it in check.
I guess the camera's like, oh, Kanavi's low. Let's have a look and see what he's doing. He'll be fine, though, but Predator on LvMao. I mean, this is what he takes on his Bard when he's down the bottom lane, so he loves this summoner. Probably happy he could get it for now. Sorry, Vroon. Excuse me, but Dagda, I want to bring you back to a bit of story, because remember what I said at the start of game, Yagao came into this roster 2018 spring. Doinb left at the end of 2017. It is the old versus the new of JDG mid laners, and Yagao on this LeBlanc is his iconic champion, while Doinb's is the rise. So they're pulling out all the stops here in game 3.
And it has to be done. This is potentially FPX dropping out of contention. I mean, in the semi-finals as well, it would be a repeat of that 2019 spring that we had only 1 year later.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a 3-2, right? It would be a 3-0, but with an early gold lead like this, talk about FPX in the driver's seat at the moment, because that's what it is. 10 CS lead down the bottom side, and Tian is hovering around this mid lane, giving safety to Doinb in this laning phase. He's keeping up with CS. He's already got the tier, and now enabled to go towards the bottom side, which we know from FPX has been their identity in the past.
You can go for these heavy dives here as well. Yes, LvMao will be difficult to take down, but Loken, not so much, especially when Chris can land a hook on towards the AD carry. Yeah. Kanavi's up top side. There's nobody to help out if you see this dive come through. Yes, you have FPX turning over towards the Dragon, but I think Loken and LvMao, having no vision on where the members of FPX are, should be backing away.
We're just watching the blue buff getting traded across by Kanavi meanwhile. Also note that Gimgoon with the ult D, it's never really the amount of members you see on your screen. It is going to be FPX with the first Dragon of the game. Bit of cooldown reduction, Infernal soon to come, and are you ready? Loken and LvMao against Tara, but it's not happening here, Dagda.
Loken and LvMao are actually playing this pretty greedily, because you've got no teleport on Zoom, you've got a cannon barrage on Gimgoon, Doinb has been missing for the longest of times on this bottom side river. That was incredibly risky for Loken and LvMao to stay and try and pick up this fight.
And they'll say, doesn't matter, we made it. Because at the end of the day, they did. Receiving the wave at the turret, as you mentioned. But still, I'm pretty concerned just for the laning phase itself. Not outside of the global play. Because 72 CS with a misfortune who's just gone back for Berserker Creeps.
And that's the reward that JDG will get from playing this very greedily. They can shove in, have LvMao start to roam. Loken will be able to back here or just run straight towards that Rift Herald while having the push advantage. You can see Lwx has to go down and collect this wave. So now you've got man advantage for that Rift Herald.
Flush away. Especially by himself at the moment. That's how Lwx has to play it, while Crisp is going to help shove out this mid wave. Both these supports been roaming spectacularly here through this series.
One kill onto Lwx and also having that bullet time available. FPX, if they want to look towards this Rift Herald, would love to have this misfortune start to roam now. Fortunately though, hasn't actually made a move, so JDG are getting control back around this Rift Herald pit, which is super important for them, especially when Yagao is going to be looking to make these picks and poke and prod at FPX before that fight actually kicks off.
Lost Chapter, a meaningful buy from him as well with the blue buff in hand. Means also he'll be able to shove this out pretty damn quickly, and then JDG walking towards the pit, going to be spotted out by a control ward. You can see FPX actually not making any moves. They don't care. They're just going to let this one go.
And this is something FPX have been doing a lot, and I'm not a fan of it, is giving over these objectives where they actually have the opportunity to fight.
Maybe not.
Now Lwx is scuttling his way through the river, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, I was about to say, it does feel like it's a bit too late. FPX, however, with the Realm Warp, make it not so. Only at 1k, they're going to run in anyway. Hit, stolen away. Never mind, Dagda. It ain't late till that Rift Herald goes down, and it goes down to Tian.
Kanavi and LvMao were fumbling around with it. They didn't try and burst it. Again, not knowing where FPX was.
Over the wall, though, you can see Doinb's going to walk on forward. Shane not going to connect from Yagao. And with Rift Herald now in hand, FPX, the driver's seat here in this third game, is definitely up to them.
I'd love to see FPX use this towards the top side as well. Just start to accelerate Gimgoon. See he's working up towards his Triforce, and if you can get that top lane turret down in favor of Gimgoon, then start to rotate around the map and use the pressure that Gimgoon has to just massively accelerate on the side lane and cause issues for JDG.
I was just thinking, sorry, Tactor, I had a moment where I thought about 2019. Do you remember that Yagao's worst champion was Ryze? Remember he was 0 and 11 on it in 2019? Like, it was a horrible win rate. Going up against it here in Doinb, I was just kind of mesmerized for a bit thinking, Yagao's Ryze did not look this good last year. Now going up against Doinb on his best champion in the LeBlanc. He's actually ahead by 10 CS here in the mid lane. So keep an eye on that matchup there, because we have been talking a lot about the other lanes. Also note that Gimgoon is down in CS, and he just lost to Plate.
This is not the way this matchup is supposed to be going, and I mean, if we're looking at who owns the crown of the Gangplank champion, I'd definitely be giving it to Zoom so far. He's had the far bigger impact on this, and this is why trying to accelerate this Gangplank could definitely help out if we're talking Rift Herald positioning, just because Gimgoon hasn't been able to get the same control as Zoom did. Even with the grasp of the Undying procs, being able to push in, more activity towards the top side has meant Gimgoon hasn't been able to put as much pressure towards Zoom as we saw in that game number 1.
I mean, that Rift Herald play seems to be causing the discrepancy that he's currently at, right? He's going to be backing now as well. Sheen already in hand, so expecting, the 3 components here is hello Tian, the flash, denied! But the face breaker doesn't make it so, it's a showstopper. I don't think LvMao wanted to bring him back in as the TP comes through from Doinb. It's 3 versus 3, but we've got the cannon barrage in the middle, and LvMao now gets rooted down. In front goes Chris. I guess it works out, because Loken is now going to get knocked up with the bullet time as well. Chris with the 5-head play. Almost gets more for FPX.
And Yagao can't roam because Tian is pushing in this mid lane. He's forced to stay under tower, and now we can get to see this play happen from FPX. This is what we talked about. Enable Doinb in the mid lane to enable the map for FPX.
And give a build big W Lwx, if my words could be concrete enough, as this turret going to be first of the game here. And FPX ahead for what seems like the first time in a concrete balance hit in this series.
And it's not like we've got this scaling comp versus a mid-game comp really for FPX versus JDG. You've got Lwx, yes, who will start to fall behind to Loken, but you'll have Gimgoon who will take over in the top side of the map. Doinb will start to have more pressure in these team fights than Yagao. So we've still got to be very careful on both sides. As you said at the start, Hysterics, it'll come down to execution of both these comps, and right now FPX are giving themselves that edge with the gold lead.
Curious if JDG are going to start this one, though, because Dragon's going to get pulled out. Tian is still here. Dragon going down pretty quickly. He's going to walk at this one. They're going to take the 50-50, and they lost it. What a surprise. Tian gets pulled on in, but he's rooted down with Gravitum, and he'll die in the end as well. TP comes in through from Gimgoon, and Doinb walks in as well. Zoom on the back of this fight. The kick onto Chris sends him into the oblivion. 2 kills for JDG at the cost of losing the Dragon.
You'd be happy with that for JDG. You just wanted a bit of gold going back in your favor. And now, with all the members who have grouped up on this bottom side, they can move towards mid, try and get something for themselves. But when you've only got a couple of seconds remaining on towards these turret platings, I don't think they'll be able to get any more gold out of this play.
It's all Lwx just pushing the bottom wave, which doesn't have a turret anyway, and leaving that wave to go on its way. As you mentioned, turret plating disappearing. I've got some other timers we're going to start looking at with the Herald about 3 minutes away. TP actually used here by Zoom to get back up in the top wave. Gimgoon almost gets pulled in. But Trinity Force and Protobelt now picked up for both these top laners. And Orange going to be used to be healed up here. So we're at a point in the game where these first items are coming across. And now we have FPX with 2 dragons under their belt and an Ocean Soul for a machine gun Ryze.
So this is where JDG will need to start setting up a little bit earlier for these objectives. We haven't seen Yagao having the impact we were hoping for him as much on this LeBlanc before the fights kick off. Yagao's been doing a great job throughout the split of picking off members of the enemy team right as these objectives are about to spawn, but without the vision control for JDG, they haven't quite been able to get that set up for you.
It also feels like Chris roaming to the mid lane a couple of times, Tian shadowing as well, has been a core factor as the flash away We speak of the devil here. Zoom now stuck under turret. But 3 people sitting with FPX.
He has the death realm though, so he can't clear out this wave really effectively. Doesn't have the Hexprotect Proto Belt, but can still one more obliterate this one. And now you can't push in his FPX, because who starts off this? Is it Crisp? No, because he'll end up going down in the death realm to Zoom, and then you don't have enough damage as Tian or Lwx to finish off the rest.
Tien's
if he
like,
leaves
come
the
on,
tower though.
Death roll me, let's go. Who's he going to use it on? It seems Tian, in the end of the day, the bullet time doesn't work out. Now it's a 1 versus 1. Doinb is realm warped up here. Meanwhile, Zoom is going to get a nice surprise when he comes out of the death realm. Tian almost goes down, but it is Doinb's kill at the end of the day. Well, JDG hold control bot, FPX commit top.
But JDG are pushing in bot, they're pushing in mid as well. Loken trying to hammer down that turret against Gimgoon. Decent wave clear from Gangplank. Should be able to get this one away. Although Cannon Barrage is gone, so it will be a trade of 2 towers for 1.
Yeah, I believe he used it on the bottom lane turret, so there we go. JDG trading the big numbers here in Game 3.
And this is where we've seen the evolution of JDG from 2019 to 2020, is having more control on these side lanes, on these waves. So even when they get in situations like this, oftentimes they are trading up, like we've just seen. That gold lead for FPX is very quickly starting to lessen. Only 200 gold between the teams.
It's cleaning up the shot calling. It's with Kanavi coming in. What did you call him? Special sauce.
The special sauce for dumplings.
Yeah. Because the Dumpling Brothers are always situated here. Loken comes in as well, fixed up the bottom lane, but Kanavi over Flawless has been the best decision of a lifetime. JDG, although we're complimenting here in this game, they're still going to be losing another Herald. FPX have played this game better than their last 2, by far. Being more competitive here in the early game, have a great to lead, and can really push it forward here with the Rift Herald number 2. Now in the back pocket.
And finally, we're seeing the style that made FPX world champions. Getting control of this early game, pushing through side lanes, enabling a lot through bot, as you said. And now they've got another Rift Herald, which they can use to crack open this mid lane turret. And as JDG, actually, they're invading real deep here to try and get onto Doinb.
He's going to walk into this blind as well. Peekaboo! World champion mid laner. Who cares?
And this is how Yagao plays this LeBlanc. Getting the picks early, setting up JDG for their man advantages, and now they can start to aggress towards this bottom side. The issue though is too many people pushing on this bottom lane will give FPX that Rift Herald play in the mid.
And that's a big pick for Yagao, right? That's a big pick. Puts JDG in a pretty comfortable position to receive these waves. Get some of that deeper vision around the Ocean Dragon coming up next.
And look at the pressure JDG are being able to create now. Even though you would expect that FPX with a Gangplank and a Rise would be the ones controlling side lanes, JDG are doing a good job of answering for that threat and setting up, as you said, for the likes of this Dragon in just a few moments. Vision control is a lot better for them, so keep your eyes on Yagao, who needs to back fairly quickly, or actually I think he's picking up the blue buff now to give him the mana for this fight that's about to start.
Let's just say, there it is in his back pocket. Level 12 here for Yagao. Doinb is level 11. Tian up towards the top side now. He could just be ignoring Dragon completely to get this inner turret instead. But he's actually going to back as I say that.
You want to try and use it to crack open this mid lane turret instead. That's the one thing that's stopping FPX from getting full control of this top and bottom side jungles. But with that late back, they hand over the Dragon to JDG. Now, it's not really an issue for FPX. It's only the first Dragon of the game for JDG. It's more about making sure that JDG can't compound this issue and get more Dragons at the later stages.
And you've got Oceans building up. Again, JDG are also a team that with Ocean Soul on the horizon, that's a very dangerous imbalance that you do not want to play with, especially when you have a Felios on your team and a Mordekaiser who no doubt is heading towards his second item in the Leanders.
Look at how much gold Yagao is getting stacked into him, though. He's consistently in these side lanes. Now a 30 CS lead over Doinb, who should be the one in the side lane with the teleport, but it's Yagao who's doing a great job of finding these openings to get more gold, more experience into him, and he's now got a 2-level lead over Lwx, working towards a second item. Lwx needs to be so careful as to how he posts up with this bullet time in fights, because Yagao could be around any corner.
We look towards Yagao as one of the best LeBlancs here in the LPL. If you haven't watched JDG before, you've seen Yagao like over previous years. You might have missed out on the 2019 Spring, as Chris was missing out on his life there. Loken is pushing up here with the rest of JDG grouping up. Looking towards time, as there is Baron available in 15 seconds with Yagao off of the side lane.
Yagao stealing away the blue buff as well, so now he's got even more pressure on these side lanes, but actually looking for Gimgoon.
Getting stalked here by the LeBlanc. It's again another peekaboo. The orange is available. Barrel going to be put on down. Yagao jumps on in. Double distortion here, but the minions doing a bit of dirty work as well. Both at half health. Gimgoon a little bit lower. Almost a solo kill, but now they know LeBlanc's top. As Zoom is going to be looking for Doinb here in a 1 versus 1. Death Realm around the side. Now at this point, Doinb is going to try and roam up to the other side. As out of the Death Realm, he's now, where the heck is he?
He's running rings around him. Didn't take the
He
warp.
didn't take it, did he?
No. So now JDG will all collapse onto this bottom side to try and keep Zoom safe. But
this is why you don't toggle vision. We got to see it at all times.
The issue here, though, is Gimgoon used the teleport to get towards that bottom side. Rift Herald in the mid lane, though. There is the opportunity for JDG to try and clear this out.
Okay, all members of FPX, though, grouping up mid. Yagao here on a flank. Look at where Gimgoon is, though. He's starting to group. Rift Herald not going to be getting a second charge here, but the engage from Chris while Gimgoon getting spotted out. Yagao for the 1 versus 1. He says rematch, round 2, and it's my time to take it.
Now, though, JDG trying to clear out these waves, push forward once again. Now you've got Zoom uncontested in this bottom lane, shoving in. JDG pushing forward, getting vision around this Baron off of just that one pick.
I mean, again, it's another pick comes through from, this time, only Yagao. As we finally get to see this one again.
So this is where the call is always in Doinb's favor. Do I take the Realm Warp or do I not? So, oh, actually.
Oh, because it's in the Death Realm?
Maybe he doesn't take that. Look.
What? That's funky.
So I thought he'd actually walked out of it.
That's why I was like, hang on, where is he? That is funky. As Doinb is probably really happy about that one. I think Zoom would be pissed off. As Yagao's going to be running away. The cannon barrage used again. Yagao low. And now Doinb, with the pressure of this GP in a side lane, starting to really ramp up.
The problem here, though, is Gimgoon now has no cannon barrage, now has no teleport, whereas Zoom does. So with Yagao backing and re-entering onto the map, JDG have got full map pressure to try and use for Zoom on a side lane, but JDG has not opted to use this. Instead, Zoom playing towards the top side, playing towards this power.
So, Dagda, we're at a point where gold is just about even. JDG have fought back well from the early game shenanigans that FPX built this game on. I was going to ask you a question, but I'm going to stop because Showstopper comes on in. Kanavi with the kickback onto the AD carry, and that face breaker from LvMao does exactly that. A good bullet time, but the FPX ulti burns everyone. Yagao comes in for the mighty flank. Gimgoon setting up his barrels here, but never mind that. They need to get out into the Realm Warp, escape. FPX cannot run into JDG.
But JDG can run in towards Baron now. That was a fantastic play. The kick from Kanavi for the flash face breaker from LvMao. That was... Oh sick. My god, that was sick.
But now we're in front of the Baron. As you mentioned, a ward is here, so FPX need to contest. This Baron will push ahead. JDG as Yagao is the person off to the side. Tian looking for an angle in this one as well, but with the Aphelios, they do this quick. FPX need to get in it now. Tian at 2k needs to go in the back of the pit looking for the steal. Baron is stopped for now. This one comes through, but it's secured by JDG. First kill of the fight as well. Second kill of the fight. Over to this Mordekaiser.
Loken!
The third with Loken. Ninja Gaiden back here in League of Legends again.
The triple kill for Loken, the Baron for JDG, and suddenly the gold lead swings in favor of the upstarts. JDG looking to take down the world champions in Game 3.
That's a big swing, Dagda. 4K, Ocean Soul on the horizon. Yes, it's a couple of dragons' time, but you just aced FPX, and you're running at mid with this Aphelios.
You're getting a mid lane turret. You're getting a top lane turret. You're getting a dragon. Look at this gold just exponentially rise for JDG. And when we look at the execution was what we put out before this. How do FPX play through side lanes? How do JDG get picks with Yagao, but not pointing out Kanavi? Because that play to start things off was amazing. He gets the pullback from FPX. He gets the Baron in the 50-50. And from this point on, Zoom in the midst of everyone is massive.
Look at Loken flash forward here, man. Holy. This game, this series, is JDG's for the taking. I came into today expecting this to be close. But JDG have shown us there is no way that FPX stand a chance here. against this second seed who are poised to strike and make their way into the grand final against top esports.
You come into the mosh pit against JDG and they'll beat you every time with experience. FPX are not able to fight in these scenarios because Tian flashing over the pit to try and get the steal separates him from the team. Doinb and Gimgoon don't have the damage right now. I mean, look at Gimgoon's items. Compared to where we were in the game number 1 with Zoom, he's only got an Essence Reaver and Triforce.
That you use the word experience there, Dagda, because FPX are the ones who have experience here. They've got the world stage experience. They've got a synergy in the bottom lane that is extended now for 5 years. Doinb's been in the LPL for a little bit longer than that as well, starting on QG Reapers. JDG don't care. The new mid laner from JDG, Yagao, is performing so much better here than the world champion super carry Doinb. And now, turrets dropping like flies here across the map. 6k gold lead. This Baron buff has done its job.
And remember, for JDG, 3rd in summer 2018 where they lost to Rogue Warriors in the playoffs. 2nd in spring 2019 where they lost to IG once again. Now though, they are looking to push themselves into the finals and finally try and make it to that international stage.
And in our marquee matchup, the Mordekaiser has shown as AKA Zoom that he can play both ends of this matchup nicely. As we look towards Yagao on the side lane, we look at Zoom in another. Baron buff is going to stop at Tian. Almost gets stopped in his trap. Here comes the Realm Warp though. Yagao jumps back in and ignites. What a big ballsy play. Will he die because of it? I don't know. The damage on top of Gimgoon. The clone absorbing the turret. He's running away. His team saves him. Yagao is the best mid laner in this series by far. The bullet time comes through. The fight continues here. JDG under turret, the showstopper. They want to end it right here. But is this presumptuous? I think so. LvMao a bit too far forward. They felt the heat. And JDG overstep.
And JDG get burned. They get the amazing play from Yagao, who's making a point of best LeBlanc in the world in this game. But unfortunately, they go too far. You have the dive come in from Zoom. He's not tanky enough to try and survive all that turret damage. You also have LvMao who's gone so far forward that you can't have this Aphelios close the distance. Loken is trying to catch up with the play, and as a result, FPX turn it back around.
The magic belongs to Yagao. Watch this beauty again.
So well played by Yagao. And Tian being disrespectful here. The double distortion comes back with the ignite. And even here, Gimgoon, I wasn't certain that he was going to win that either, especially when he ended up getting the parlay onto Yagao rather than the barrel. I wasn't certain Yagao wasn't just going to turn around for the double.
Tian cut that replay a little bit short. He said, oh, we don't need to see anymore. I know what happened here. 3-0 and 4 here on the LeBlanc. 3 items strong here for Yagao. He has never lost on this champion. 8 games in the regular season, 30 KDA. He's building on this. He's looking for number 9. He's looking to beat Doinb at Rise, his best champion, that no one else is willing to play at the moment. It is all JDG all the time here. Now, granted, they made a mistake in base, but the third Ocean's coming up. JDG hold control, and a Baron in less than a minute as well to look to decide this series.
So even though JDG make the play, don't forget they don't get the structures in the base of FPX.
Hang on, Dagger. We're going to have to wait because Yagao poking his head over the wall. Flash forward. Chris goes to the engage. Actually finds the AD carry. Bullet time as well. Beautiful before Loken goes golden. But the AD carry is so damn low. They finally find him. FPX with the numbers advantage until in comes the solo lanes. Gimgoon running against LvMao, and in the Death Realm, Doinb, Zoom, go head-to-head, and FPX finally fight back.
Kanavi, though, looking to try and get onto Doinb.
He was close enough. Here comes the Realm Warp to get out of harm's way. Forward they go. Death timers massive here for JDG.
There's a lot of damage that can come down from this squad as well. FPX could look to just close this one out.
No way. I mean, this team was about to lose the series. Narrative aside, FPX, they say let's go.
How many times have we said you can only make one mistake against FPX, though?
Going golden, trying to delay time. LvMao in front of the turret as well. FPX find the support. Kanavi goes in for the kick, and he dies as well. The flag is raised. The series not over. FPX make one fight a reality as Loken looking to come in. Low health bars. Season 10 gets one. The other, the ultimate comes through. Loken's hitting them. The Nexus exposed. Oh my god! This champion is ridiculous. ridiculous.
Are you for real? JDG, hold on by the skin of their teeth. Now the long death timers are on the side of FPX. Baron is available. JDG can look to take it.
I mean, the death timers were massive. That game should have been over.
There's no wards even for FPX. There's no way for them to try and sneak into the base. JDG have managed to hold it.
Somehow, some way. We were talking up JDG. This fight was all FPX.
This fight was all Chris.
Yeah.
Finding that flash hook onto Loken was the decider for this fight. No damage from the Aphelios. LeBlanc does not have enough damage to carry these fights, even with Zoom trying to get onto the back line. And FPX finally found their fight, but
see the
can't
other replay.
finish it off.
Nexus exposed, control ward placed down, no backdoor shenanigans. But FPX can win fights. They can. If they kill Loken. If Loken dies, FPX continue here in the series. If not, 3-0 on the line.
This is the fight that she wants to talk about, but Loken manages to get a lot of those chakrams off very quickly, which sets this up. So when you get that Q coming through from the Calibrum, the sniper is able to shut down Doinb off with just one shot.
It's always me. I always cast Aphelios. It's
you
always
want a
me.
hook, is it okay? You're okay. The bad man can't hurt you if you ban him away.
He's got
Just
4
remember
items.
that.
Now, I know he's fed, but Loken is beyond fed. He's massive. 350 CS at 31 minutes here. There is an Ocean Soul in 4 minutes. Baron was secured. And right now, JDG on the defense, waiting for that inhibitor to respawn. And FPX know it.
Yagao doing a good job here, though, of looking to clear out the vision from JDG. Knows about that control ward in the river brush, so looking to just see if he can get the flank off. But FPX keeping themselves in check, moving around the space. So, well, Yagao can't get onto them, but Gimgoon nearly gives it to him.
I mean, that's another point, right? If Yagao finds a pick, then FPX are going to lose those numbers. And that's another threat here. But Doinb in a side lane, meanwhile, going to get the shove up here. Ping's still down. Super's pushing in, and they're gone in an instant.
So Doinb trying to use his split push pressure now. He said how heavily this team could work in side lanes. Haven't seen it come to fruition just yet, but at least now, with the teleport advantage, Doinb getting down pressure in the bottom side of the map, can now look to rotate top and try and crack a few of these tier 2 towers.
Pings are going down from FPX on our way towards the Nexus. I don't know what that means. That's a pretty hard push.
But do you have to push? This is the thing, don't forget, there's realm warps available for Doinb. They could, with the pressure that they're getting on these side lanes, shoving in the waves, they can look to realm warp into the base. The issue, though, is every second they're using on these side waves, their inhibitor has an opportunity to respawn. So they need to try and make this play fast, and I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to try and do so. But again, see the pings.
I have to apologize to our audience. I really thought that JDG held the driver's seat. That last fight from FPX made me really reconsider how this game's going to go. And we're at a point now. Super's still channeling through the mid lane. That inhibitor not up yet.
Loken does have his flash coming back up, which is a crucial part of this entire thing. If he can avoid the likes of Chris getting onto him, or maybe Doinb on a side flank, well, then he should be able to dish out the damage that you just saw at that Nexus fight. Let's
see the balance of power between these two teams. FPX are fighting for everything on the line. Gimgoon in the side wave here yet again. Zoom takes no damage. He's at that point in the game. FPX are grouping. You talked about the Realm Warp, Dagda.
Inhibitor nearly about to respawn, though. They're better off just going for these turrets. Play it by the book. They will look towards this bottom lane tower, and at least that will, again, give FPX more control in this game, putting pressure across the board. FPX fighting as the world champions to keep themselves in this semi-finals.
Oh, man. You can see how defensive JDG are. They don't care about that inner turret. They just want this game to stay alive and to complete in their favor. Inhibitor now up, so Nexus is invulnerable. The back door works for Inhibitor, but then it's going to need a lot more time here. So Doinb back to a side wave. Note that Ocean Soul's up in a minute 10. Baron in 2 minutes. That's what we're playing for.
And I want to see JDG playing towards that vision that we talked about, getting control of this objective to set up for Yagao. FPX have already done a great job of getting vision on the way back out that now needs to be addressed by JDG, or else you can have Gimgoon with this deep flank, or even Doinb with this deep flank.
FPX are moving as a unit, looking here. Yagao has to disappear. They knew that Yagao was off somewhere, looking for the pick that ends the game.
That's how you deal with this LeBlanc. It's as a stacked unit moving in, so Yagao can't find the opportunity for that pick.
Okay, barrel not going to trigger onto Loken. Yagao behind once again.
And don't forget, if Yagao gets a kill here with the death timers, there's no way that you'll be able to fight for either the Dragon or, in a couple of seconds, for the Baron as well.
JDG are holding positioning towards the Dragon area. At this point, the Soul, Ocean Soul, to lose with that is near impossible, as we've seen in games, especially with this Aphelios. So, Yagao here, sitting on a bit of a ward outside of the pit, maybe not. Dredgeline not going to connect, the fight's going to begin. LvMao in back with the Facebreaker again, but into the back, Tian tries to get this AD carry. Loken is healthy for now, the True Top Barrage comes through, and again, JDG trying to push forward, but they're getting burst down by FPX.
Look at Loken.
Trying to look for Tian as well. You talk about Loken, he's run forward, Aphelios onto Doinb, and JDG just like that might have the series.
The white flag goes up as the emote. JDG have found the chance. They found the opportunity. They're breaking open the base.
And this time it's real. Who's back to stop this one? FPX don't have Aphelios. There's no way. And JDG, throughout all, were expected to be the underdogs against the world champions. But they shine, they rise in front of the Phoenix, and JDG will 3-0 the 2019 world champions to make it into the final and face off against top esports.
JDG, in such a commanding fashion, power through the world champions. They find the 3-0 and now will put themselves against top esports, crowning a brand new champion in the LPL.
One last fight. That game held onto by Loken. Loken came out massive there. And I can't believe we're staring down the barrel of a new champion. A brand new LPL champion with JDG making it into the finals against top esports. Both those teams have not won a domestic title before. And we're going to have a brand new crown holder after May 2nd.
And JDG played this so incredibly well. They set themselves up a little bit hastily in the early game where FPX were starting to make moves around the map, but JDG looked to answer back. They traded up when it came to those turrets, getting one in mid, getting another in bot, while there was only the top lane turret going down for FPX. And when they started to get into crunch time, Yagao started to shine, getting these picks, picking off the low health bars of FPX. And finally, Loken, holy mother of God, he went nuts in these fights.
He definitely did. And towards that last fight as well, confident to flash forward, right? And those last two fights took me off my guard. I stumbled on words because I'm going, what the heck is happening? Absolute chaos. But at the end of the day, FPX were beaten in 3-0 fashion. I was expecting maybe a 3-1, maybe a 3-2 between these two teams. Our first 3-0 is our most unexpected one.
But it speaks volumes to JDG's
Definitely
growth
does.
throughout the spring split. Now, 705 in the roster, yes, he was doing well, but it's Zoom who has been the mainstay for this team. His engages in these fights were fantastic, alongside LvMao on this set. Holy God, this guy getting into the mix, flashing forward, setting up those plays with Kanavi. That kick into the flash facebreaker was disgusting.
I mean, look, Loken might not have the most damage in the game, but he was still up there on JDG with Yagao off on the side. That swing in gold, that was how that third game erupted and how that game almost came towards the game 4. But JDG, at the end of the day, people will look at this and say the world champions got 3-0'd by the second seed.
And let's look at this across the board, because we highlighted Zoom. This guy on the opposite side of the matchup that he won so heavily in game number 1, strove out in front and actually managed to take over that matchup. We look at Yagao against Doinb, who Doinb opting for this rise. I thought he'd be able to take over this lane, but Yagao, when we got to the midpoint, was the one with far greater impact. And Loken and LvMao controlling that bottom side of the map and then coming into the team fights in their own. And even though Kanavi didn't have the same impact in the early game, when we again got towards the mid game, when we got towards team fights where they had to stand up to fight back against FPX's gold lead, they were able to do so.
I mean, this is the team that is looking poised to take it all against top esports. We've now got a final with two teams that have really risen against the favourites. IG, FPX, first and third seed, have been defeated.
They are undefeated with their new rosters.
They are.
Top Esports has dropped a few games, but they have not lost a series with Jackie Love in the team. Now we've got JD Gaming, who've not lost a single game with Zoom in. They are 19-0 off of this game with Zoom in the roster. That is insane. But one of these teams will have to break that streak to be crowned world champion.
Bring it back to this series, if we're just talking about Zoom versus Gimgoon, that series was all about Zoom. Our marquee matchup in the top lane was all about Zoom. If we talk mid lane, it was all about Yagao. Jungle, all about Kanavi. The bottom lane of Lwx and Crisp had moments, but LvMao and Loken were the better lane. So throughout it all roles really outbalanced FPX within performance within that series.
And look what you're saying. You're saying Loken was the better laner against Lwx and Crisp. This was what we had issues with when Loken was in top esports, was his laning phase. But LvMao and Loken together, reunited on this roster, have been able to shore up so many of those issues that we saw.
Yep.
And then you look towards Zoom. Look, people will say the Shy is the best top laner. I'm all on the Zoom hype train. I think Zoom is by far the best top laner and the most consistent.
What we said last year was, even though the Shy was pulling out great players, if there was a second, it was Zoom, right? And unfortunately, Zoom didn't play enough to put him on that all LPL team roster. Gimgoon went on there, instead, and you're like, on a second or third roster, refresh my memory. But Zoom should be on there. Zoom is a top 2 top laner in the LPL. I'd easily say you want to put him first. With IG out, go for it. Because at this point, no one's stopping you. He's going to be going up against 369. And in that final series, they're going to define who the best top laner of 2020 Spring is, by far. Because both have had individual talents, and Zoom within this series played the GP matchup into Mordekaiser, smashed it. Played the Mordekaiser matchup into GP, smashed that one as well. Zoom is a gifted top laner who's finally back in form.
And just look at the rosters that we have. Look how stacked these two teams are. You've got 369 versus Zoom. You've got Kanavi versus Karsa, Knight versus Yagao. You've got such a strong bottom lane for both these teams. How the hell do you try and pick a favorite here? I can't even get my words out.
But at least this series, coming back here, FPX now have to play the third place match, right? That's what it's going to come up to look for most championship points. Remember that here in Spring, we still give out championship points towards Worlds. They have been reduced from last year, so championships not giving as much as it used to, but it's still important because we have regional finals, and top 3 teams make it into regional finals based on points. Spring defines a lot of teams, and third place is still going to be important for either IG or FPX. The original final we thought we were going to have here in Spring is now reduced to a third place.
And that is just an astounding feat in and of itself. But when we do look at that, I mean, FPX here showed just how many weaknesses that they have. Not being able to get off to that early game start really does hinder them. And against the top teams, like we see from JDG here today, even when they get that lead, they're not able to really snowball it as well as we expected. They didn't play through 1-3-1 to try and use their teleport advantages, start to get these objectives in their favor, like the Dragons, like the Rift Heralds. It really did feel like FPX just didn't know what to do when they got that.
We got up to a point where they came up against this man who's your MVP. You know it is Loken. He saved the game, made it a 3-0, and Loken smiling at FPX saying, you know what, close, but no cigar.
And it's fantastic to see Loken stepping up to the mark. I mean, look, he had a small stint in LCK, but after coming over from top to JDG, this guy has looked absolutely incredible.
We're having a look at the last couple of fights. I mean, this was the one that JDG initiated. And I thought, okay, maybe FPX can turn this. The damage going out. But Loken the whole time, unchecked.
Look at this here. Just Doinb goes golden, and he's like, right, you can't DPS me. I'm flashing forward to kill Gimgoon, kill Doinb. And that's the confidence that JDG need from their AD carry. We pointed out Kanavi, we pointed out the Dumpling Brothers, but it's Loken in that final game who says, I deserve to be in that conversation with JDG's greatest.
Clean play from JDG, even the way that game ended. The fight ends up being a cleaner version of the result of the series. A 3-0 again to highlight for JDG. We're at a point now where, I don't know what's going to happen.
We're in uncharted territory. We don't know. I mean, yes, this is JDG once again. Spring 2020 coming into the finals like they did in Spring 2019.
Yep.
But we've got top esports now.
Do it again.
Finally finding their success and getting to the finals.
They beat FPX again. I mean, FPX have never beaten JDG in a playoff setting, and once again that remains true. However, we now have to poise or push you forward into our third place match. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 29th, IG and FPX will face off to see who's going to be third and fourth here in the regular season of Spring. But on the 2nd of May, our grand final will be between Top Esports and JDG. We will have a brand new LPL champion here in Spring.
And we talked about this being one of the closest splits we've ever seen. How so many of our rosters have upgraded. The players themselves have taken on new, just incredible performances. And now we're seeing it come to fruition for both Top and JDG. The underdogs in many scenarios, but now picking up that slack, working with their squads and pushing them to the grand final.
Our first seed's taken care of. We've got our 4th and 2nd seed going head to head. And it's an incredible time to be alive. The LPL highlights here for you. That 3rd and 4th place match will be coming up first as a reminder. For those championship points here against FPX and IG, that itself will be a good series. But then our finals will be right after that. The 2nd of May as a final reminder for you as well. So moving forward, I mean, JDG here look as clean as anything. And I think that this could be the best iteration of JDG we've ever seen. Even 2018 when they were trying to make that run through regionals, when they were shut down. Last year, shut down through first round of regionals again, but by IG. This is their year. They're starting it off here in Spring. And all it takes is this championship to suddenly start going, well, the best team in LPL is JDG.
Well, you started our prediction today with a question mark, and that's where we get left with, is what does this mean for the LPL? The great teams, the historic teams that have been in the LPL for so long,